Something like the Living History series is quite important because every place, neighborhood, or other unofficial spot in Vancouver, there's always history. There's always something to be discovered, and I think if you capture it from the people that have actually lived through it, that provides such a wonderful document and record for the future. And so, just as we rely on paper records and newspaper accounts at the archives today, something like this is very important for not only today, but for further down the road as this neighborhood changes.
Hey there, I'm Heather O'Hara, the chair of the Hastings Crossing Business Improvement Association. And myself and Wes Regan co-created the Living History series as a way to capture a lot of the remarkable artifacts, places, people, iconic things that have happened in this neighborhood.
I think that the Living History series in general is as much about being self-reflexive of what the neighborhood is now today, how we got here. And that can inform the direction that we're taking moving forward and how we self-actualize our community.
The Vancouver Heritage Foundation is an arm's-length non-profit society set up by the City of Vancouver to educate Vancouverites about the built heritage of Vancouver. Built heritage includes everything from landscape to buildings to ephemeral objects, history and things like that. So it's really out there to keep people informed about what is important about Vancouver.
I think in terms of takeaways, it's really important that this series really be able to capture some of the nuances, some of the things that maybe people don't understand, some of the tensions, some of all that really raw experience that, you know, without people who tell their stories, without sharing that in this vehicle of living history, we may never hear again.
I think it's important not to lose some of that history that hasn't been mainstream knowledge per se. It's been more about people who we've had to track them down, and we've had to hear from them firsthand the stories that aren't really archived.
The Smiling Buddha project is part of the Vancouver Heritage Foundation's Places That Matters program. Initially conceived as 125 plaques placed around Vancouver on places that citizens and others considered important to commemorate. The Smiling Buddha has a long history here in the neighborhood, and as one of the last surviving remnants of a really vibrant music scene, it was voted on as a place that matters.
A lot of people know about the Smiling Buddha Cabaret, but they probably don't realize how far, how deep, how rich the history of this particular venue has been in really forming the neighborhood.
The Living History series is about the oral tradition, and it's about storytellers who were there at the time when the Buddha was an active, happening, venue throughout different eras, and it's meant different things to different people over that time. And so the oral tradition is really about passing on that history, that information that's a part of our identity today.
Well, the significance of having a plaque on the Smiling Buddha and other locations around the city is that so often places that are actually important are quite anonymous. You could walk past the location of the Smiling Buddha, it's lost everything that really made it, that visual impact of what the cabaret used to be. So if you walked by, you'd have no sense of what the place was. By putting a small plaque on it, it brings your attention to the building, it draws your attention to the history of the site. And then I think what also helps is that you would then see that one and you'd start looking for blue plaques around the city. And so just as other jurisdictions like London has their blue plaque program, you look for those blue circles throughout London for history. I think our Places That Matters plaques will do that same thing for Vancouver.
Hopefully people take away the fact that a better understanding of how much has come before them, and really the diversity that makes up this neighborhood, and a real appreciation for all the types and kinds of people and experiences and things that have happened in this particular neighborhood.